Okay. All right. Welcome to our call today, you guys. I'm so excited to connect with you, see your beautiful faces. And this is going to be more of an interactive call. I have some ideas of things that I really want you to understand. And I'm sure you understand it to a point, but we're going to dig in and really, I want to drive this concept home so that you feel more peace, so you're more committed to consistency in your business. And so you can kind of zoom out and see the big picture of how this works. Because how many of you love zoomed out perspective? Like when you zoom all the way out and you can see, oh, that makes sense. It kind of, for me, do you like that? Do you guys like zoomed out perspective where you can kind of see the big picture? To me, that helps me to feel peace in the now, but it also helps me to feel purpose in doing the work now, right? And that's what I am excited for you to leave this call with, is more perspective, and also a commitment to show up and consistently do this with peace and passion, right? They go together. So first of all, I want to ask you, I'm going to pick on certain, Nicole, tell me everyone that you enrolled last month. I want you to like take maybe 30 seconds to a minute and just scan through the people. And I want you to think of, well, I'll give you an example and then I want you to kind of do this for a couple people. So my 3 people that I enrolled last month, let's see. Oh, it's Nicole. Okay, my 3 people that I enrolled last month, one of them I talked to literally 3 years ago about Plexus and she said, no, thank you. Randomly, like no joke, 9:45, she messages me and she's like, I saw that there's a deal in your stories. Can I please get it? And I'm like, yes, like that was it. And we enrolled her quickly before it was over. That was my first one 3 years ago. And she just popped up. My second one was someone who tried Plexus, but didn't really fully try it. Maybe like 2 years ago. And I kept following up. Hey girl, I'd love to help you. Sounds like, you've stopped your products. What's happening? She randomly messaged me at the beginning of May and was like, I think I'm ready to try. Didn't respond for a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden I said, hey, I'm not trying to rush you, but we're down to the wire. Do you want to place your order? Yes, that was number 2. Number 3 was someone who, so I tagged Johnson Files. I'm turning my notifications off really quick. I tagged Johnson Files in one of my stories and they reshared my story. I had no idea they were going to do that. Right. And some cute girl messages me and she's like, I got to know what you have. Like, I've been stalking your account. I found you through Johnson Files and I want to enroll. She enrolled that day within like 20 minutes of talking to her. So can you see how like different, and the enrollment process looked different, but that's my 3 enrollments last month. So Nicole, I want you guys, while we're talking, I want you to get out your pen and paper and think through your enrollments from last month and how did they come to you? Just write a couple notes of like, how did you actually do it? Nicole, tell us like 3 of yours.
Okay, so I enrolled 8 last month, you guys, and I honestly went into the month like so discouraged, like I've been doing all the things and like nobody enrolled last month. And I was thinking like, maybe I'm not doing stuff. I was totally second guessing myself. And then most of the people I enrolled were not even on my radar, like legit. So can you hear me? Yeah. So actually my best friend from college reached out to me. You can hear me?
It's actually cutting out. Would you mind typing in the chat? Would you just mind just typing a quick, one of them was from this, one of them was from that. I'd love to have you.
Okay.
Because you keep cutting out and it like stops.
My phone's been kind of weird today.
Okay, so will you tell us in the chat? I'd love to hear that. Let's see, Chantel, tell us, maybe just think of a couple of yours. Tell us briefly, how did they, like, what was the process?
So I have a couple of them that actually ordered from me like probably 3 years ago, and then they just stopped. And so I just keep seeing things that they're dealing with. So I just keep reaching out to them. And then they finally decided to take advantage of the $9.95. And then the one gal, actually, Emily did that spa weekend, her and Brooke, and she is actually local here. Never talked to her about it before. And I just decided I had some of the beauty boxes. So I had seen her in town. And so I just messaged her. I'm like, hey, we're doing this fun spa weekend. Would you like a beauty box? And so she ended up ordering the beauty box, and then she liked the stuff, and she just got laid off, obviously. She worked for a dental office. And then as soon as she heard the date back for her to go back to work, she ordered. Like, she loved the beauty box. So
I love it. Awesome. Okay, so think through your enrollments from last month. Think through your team's enrollments from last month. I want you to see how we don't have like one way where, oh, this person, you do that and they enroll, right? We want certainty. We want to know 1, 2, 3 equals an enrollment. But truthfully, it's never like that. So I want to get this visual in your minds. And it's simple. I have a graphic I'm going to share, but I want you to see this. Can you guys all see? You can see this good? Okay, so we're going to talk about like a funnel and then your pipeline. And I want you to see this and have it burned into your mind, not just for yourself, but mostly for your people. So when you are talking to new people, when you're helping people go silver, you have this visual in your mind so that you're able to help them have success and have proper expectations. Okay, so let's call this is like the funnel, okay? This is your pipeline. Right? So it's a numbers game. How many of you know that it's a numbers game? You guys understand that? Like, if you zoom all the way out and you remove all the drama, all the emotion, all the mindset stuff, no BS, it's just a numbers game. If you talk to 100 people, you're likely to have maybe 10 people responding. Those are kind of, yes, I love that. So those are kind of like just the numbers of how it is. So when you just no BS, talk to more people, you're going to get more results. Do you guys understand that? We do, but we get our minds involved and we start telling stories like, oh, they don't like me, or oh, that person's going to hate me, or oh, they think I'm this or that, or oh, maybe they think, guys, when you remove all of that and you just zoom out, when you talk to more people, then you're going to get more people coming out of this bottom. You get that, right? Okay, so this is enrollments right here. This is people saying, yep, I'm ready to try it. Okay, and up here is all the activities that we do consistently to keep adding people and to keep beefing up our pipeline, right? So what happens if you just have like, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do my 3 asks, and you do it maybe like 2 days, and you put in 3 one day and you put in 6. What likelihood is there to have an enrollment out of that? Not super high, right? Okay, but what happens if you say, okay, I'm going to consistently do 3 asks a day, or you do what works for you. I'm going to do 50 asks for the month or whatever. And you just put, boom, all of these, boom, boom, boom. You put them all in there, right? And then there's things that you're doing along the way, like your posts, like your family posts, just your personal posts. Can you guys see this? Can you see the writing? I'm gonna scoot it. Please bless this works, because I'm just going for it. Okay. Is that better? Okay, so this is like your personal posts. This is messages, private messages, either about Plexus or just keeping it going. This is invites to our challenges, right? Or for events. What else? What other kinds of things did you do to keep people moving along this process? What other things, guys? Unmute yourself. Tell me what you think. What kinds of things?
Building like relationships with people, like just reaching out. Like there's been times where this is so cheesy, but I have a dry erase marker in my bathroom. And every night I change what I write on the board, and it could be people's names or things that I want to work on myself. And these last few weeks I've been putting down people that I've like had contact with about Plexus, but I want to build my relationship with them to be that person that they can turn to me and say, it might not be about Plexus, but let's talk. And I swear the universe hears it. The universe sees it on your mirror. And every single person I have written on my mirror this past week has ordered Plexus. And it's not because,
yes,
like, I swear it's just like whatever you guys believe in, higher power, God, I don't know. But I swear my husband's like, the universe can hear everything you say. So just be careful what you say.
Absolutely. I agree 100,000,000%. And when you write it,
Relationship building, yeah.
it's like harnessing that even more. Like you write it, watch out, it's dangerous because it's going to happen. Like seriously. I love that. What else, you guys? So she talked about relationships. What about like when you see someone in person? To me, sometimes all it takes is like they see what I'm doing online and it's kind of, they're in here and they're seeing the post and they're seeing the family and blah, blah, blah. And then I see them face to face and they're like, she's real. She cares. Let's do this. Like I have had that happen. Laura Sutton is an example of that. Like she's seeing everything. It's kind of in process. And then you see someone and they're just ready. Right. So has that happened to you guys where all of a sudden all it takes is just a face-to-face and they're in? What else? Tell me what else. Think about your enrollments last month.
I missed a little bit of what you were talking about. So sorry if this was already said, but because I got kicked off.
Oh,
but I've been doing more lives, like not even about Plexus, just lives. And like I have had so many people be like, oh my gosh, like they don't even comment. They don't comment on the live. They don't like the live, but then later they'll be like, oh, I noticed that you were talking about this the other day and like, you're such a real person. Like, I really love what you're sharing, but they're not commenting. And then sometimes they enroll. Like, they're like, okay, tell me what you're doing. You know what I mean? And because they connect with you on a deeper level. And you guys, I feel stupid doing lives. Like when I do lives, I'm like, nobody even cares. What am I doing? And then I'm like, Nicole, stop it. Like, just put yourself out there because somebody does care and somebody needs to hear what you're saying and someone needs to connect with you.
I love it. What is the word that must be for connection to happen? What's the word? Starts with a V.
Vulnerability.
Write it down in big letters, you guys. How can you get vulnerable and show your true self imperfectly with people? Think how you can do that today. How can you do that in the next 2 weeks? How can you coach your teams to do that? Because the more vulnerable and real you are, putting yourself out there, just like Nicole's saying, that is when you're going to create connection. And that's when your business is going to grow, because we're in a people business. We're in a connection business. So I want you to write down a couple of ideas of what you can do to create connection through vulnerability. Nicole, brilliant. Brilliant.
I have one more thing to say. Is that okay? I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. So today I did a free yoga class and I just wanted to share that, like, I cannot even tell you how in my head I was before the class. Like, what am I doing? I'm not good at this. Why am I doing this? Like, I totally get in my head and feel like I'm not enough. I get imposter syndrome. Like, I'm not enough because I'm going to someone else's house that makes more money than me and has a pool. And like, I totally get in my head. But then I was like, stop that. Like, you have to stop. And this is the thing. Like, I just want to say, like, I've been teaching yoga for 3 years and it still makes me uncomfortable. Like, I still get uncomfortable when I'm teaching new people. And I'm realizing that, like, it's so easy for us to get in our heads. But like, I was just like, I'm going to do it anyways because I'm going to meet 10 new people and that could build my business. So like, put yourself out there, even when you feel like somebody does better than you, or like you're an imposter, or like you're scared because you're meeting a room full of new people. It still makes me uncomfortable. So just keep putting yourself out there regardless.
I love that, Nicole. You guys, so I wrote create value. I hope you're writing these things. Please write these, because this is everything. It's the simple truth of what we do. There are no secrets. There is no magic sauce. There's no magic bullet. There's no 3-day challenge that's going to just make your business flow. Like, this is it. And I have a graphic to share with you that is going to make it even more simple, that helps you remember what we do in Plexus. Because remember, the simpler we keep it, the better, because we're in a people business. People have to have simple. If it's complicated, they don't do anything, right? Because confused people do nothing. So keep it simple, but keep this visual for you is going to be game changer in your business. When you realize, I just need to put more people in here. If you, I get questions all the time about what happens if you've dried up your warm market. I don't believe that's ever a thing. I don't, because there's people in here that aren't talking to you. Just like Nicole said, they're not messaging you and saying, I'm watching every live you do, just so you know. But there's people in here that you don't even know. My 2 enrollments from last month, 3 of my 3 was blind faith. It was blind. I had been doing these things for 4 years, right? just continuing to do it. And then boom, 3 people came out of there. One was from a random Instagram thing that I did, right? 2 of them were from people that are just floating in here that weren't even talking to me until it came time. So I want you to just get this in your heart and your mind and ask yourself, what do you have control over? I want someone to answer. When you look at this and you look at, okay, so here's where it spits out enrollments. Our goal is 3 a month. If you have more aggressive goals, you're going to want to do more than 3. Is it possible to do more than 3 a month? Yes. What do you have to do to get more than 3 a month? What do you have to do?
Be vulnerable.
More people.
More of the thing.
Yep. Is it, I mean, so if you say, what would you say? I want to just, with this in mind, when you ask the question, so what happens when my warm market is dried up? I want you to answer that to yourself. Looking at this, is your warm market ever dried up? No. If you think that, it's because you're not having faith that there's lots of people in here that are watching you and they're not telling you. But they're watching your posts, they're stalking you. And guess what? In 3 months, they're going to watch your consistency and they're going to say, boom, I'm ready. I've been watching you for a year and a half. I've been watching you for 3 months. And they're going to come out of nowhere, but we know where they come out of, right? This is a thing. But you have to have faith in this and you have to work with it. So if you're not putting new people in here, either making new friends face-to-face, either connecting with new people on social media, there's a million ways to fill your funnel. Isn't there, you guys? Some people are more face-to-face. Some people come to the table with a massive network. So they have massive enrollments right away. Is there any reason to compare and be like, oh, I can't do it because she came and had this massive like network that she could put in there? Of course she's going to have more results. But some people come to the table with, and they get to work on their influence. But does it mean it's impossible? All you got to do is figure out, okay, how am I going to get new connections, new people to put in here, right? What else would you guys add? So as far as like activities or things that you do to cultivate your pipeline, I want to hear from you. We talked about your posting, Plexus posts, your family and personal posts, sending messages, invites for things, creating value, connection with people, relationship building, face-to-face sometimes, when you do lives. What else would you add to that? All these creative ways to just cultivate your pipeline. Sammy.
I just want to share, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All of those things included, I think it's becoming more comfortable with being more vulnerable. I sold a couch that I've had in storage for like 2 years. It's a white couch that I wanted. My husband said to not buy. Long story short, I finally sold it, and the lady and her 2 daughters came over, and we started talking about why I moved here. And it's like, it was a very short-lived interaction, right? They were just coming to see the couch. They wanted it. They Venmoed me. They were ready to leave. But I was vulnerable, and I told them why we moved here, and I about my postpartum and how it led to this and that. And I'm taking these plant-based supplements that are amazing. And guess what? The mom and the one daughter want to enroll. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, I could have just smiled and let them pay me for the couch and been like, okay. But I wasn't afraid to like talk and be open and be vulnerable. And and as the mom was leaving, she's like, I just love you. You are something else. We've only been talking for like 15 minutes and we're talking about poop. And I was like, we are talking. Mike was dying because he left for a minute and then came back. But my point is it's okay to like let your guard down and just be you, because it's okay.
Oh, I love that. Sammy, I love that. So you're welcoming people into, essentially, you guys, when you have this going, guess what your pipeline is? It's just you. It's just you. You're inviting, I have a smoothie in my throat. Woo! You're inviting them to come be by you. You're like, hey, there's room at our table on our team. That's more true than ever. There's room at our table. Come be by us. See if you like what you hear. See if you like what you feel. Guess what? A lot of people are going to like what they see, feel, hear, experience around you. So this really is just you. What else would you add to this? That's all it is, you guys. Isn't it so amazing that we're in a business where we literally get to monetize abundance mentality about loving people and about inviting people to come sit with us and better their lives. Literally. What else? Katie Tucker, what would you add to this? Who else? Becky, Kate, Lara, Casey, anyone? When you look at these activities or the things that you do that gets people to know about the products but trust you and get enrollments, what kind of activities or things would you add?
Well, I actually have a lot of opinions on this aspect, because I don't think that our market is ever cold, because there are so many more friends out there for me to make. And that is my perspective on keeping your market warm and just bringing new people into your life. I enrolled a girl a couple weeks ago, and we talked on the phone for a long time, and it was not a good time for me to talk with her on the phone, but I gave her that time because I felt like it was important to building our relationship. So I was talking to this girl on the phone, and one of the things that she told me that made her choose me instead of going with somebody else is that I shared my story. So I think so many people get caught up in sharing other people's stories that they forget to share their own. And sometimes I think when we share other people's stories, it kind of seems like maybe it's not real. And when people can see our own story, that is what I think compels people to want to trust us and join us in what we're doing. So I agree with Sammy. I think when we're super vulnerable, and that's a learned skill. I don't think vulnerability comes easy to everybody. We have to learn to be vulnerable. Yes, I don't ever pressure people. I have really had to learn to breathe and take a step back and let people think about it and come to me when they're ready. But that's also after I have done my part. So it doesn't just mean I go like this and I go, okay, everyone come to me. I still have to do my portion of it. And then when we do is we let people come to us when they feel ready. So I've had to really learn to let people breathe. So for me, it's friendships, vulnerability, sharing my story regularly. I probably don't do it enough. And then letting people just breathe and think about it, and not making it seem like it's this urgent thing that we're trying to get them to enroll.
Christy?
Yes.
Hey, can I say too, like with Katie, this was what I love about Katie is I remember where we're at, and when she's talking about like when she gets ready to go on a trip, she always has samples with her. She just knows. I remember she said that she sat next to a lady that had the book about the thyroid issues or whatever. In her mind, she's thinking, I just wanted to put in my headphones and relax, but I knew this lady needed what I had to offer. And so she's always willing to like share instead of thinking, I just want to stick my headphones in. Because when we came home from, I think it was Scottsdale, like I didn't have makeup on, I didn't have samples with me. And this guy literally visited with me the whole way home about what I did. And I'm like, man, I should have been prepared. So I think the biggest part is we just need to be prepared and be willing to just open up our hearts when we have the opportunity, because the opportunity isn't always there, but when it arises, like Katie just jumps on it. And I just have always loved that about her.
You are really sweet for saying that. And I just wanted to add on too that I don't always know if it's going to pay off or not. You guys, like that lady that I talked to on the airplane the whole way down, she hasn't signed up yet. And I've still been talking with her on and off. She's kind of got her own ideas, and she's not jumped on yet. But you kind of don't know whether it's going to pay off or not. And so you kind of have to just be like, this is worth it if I can get them to listen for a minute. And, this might just be a process and take time. A lot of people take a lot longer than I wish that they would, but I've had to learn to be patient.
Amen. So I love what you all shared. When you think of those people, that lady on the airplane right there, and then that person that you talked to that you're sure they were signed up, are they gone or are they just in here? Guys, there's never a finish line. Do you understand that? Like all the people that you've ever talked to, they're still in here. They're still watching. They're still like part of this. You're cultivating that pipeline. And here's what I want to say to bring it all together and finish us off here. The biggest thing is trust the process. Okay? Stop white knuckling. I'm telling this to myself too, but write that down. Trust this process. Keep showing up and doing these things consistently. Keep being you. Keep taking care of yourself. Keep loving people. Keep doing all these things one thing at a time, and trust that you will have a harvest. Your harvest can't be denied. You will get one. So here's the trick. You increase. I wish I had a place to put this. So I'm going to use, oh, no, it's okay. If you increase the amount of people you're putting in at the top, you increase this. What are you also going to increase? You're going to increase this. And here's what I really want to show you. You're going to increase the amount of enrollments. It's just a numbers game. We don't have control. And the way to have peace in this is, like Katie said, you just have to keep doing it. Keep putting people in, cultivating your pipeline. There's peace. The peace goes when you try to white knuckle it and you try to force people to do it right now. Like, that doesn't feel good. But guys, when you're a professional, and that's what these calls every single Monday from 1 to 1:30, I'm committed to coach you to be a freaking professional. When you're a professional, you're peaceful, you're let go. You're like, you do what works for you. It's attractive because you know people are going to come around. You increase the amount of people you're putting in here. Are there a million ways to increase that? There's a million ways. So don't overthink it. What one thing could you do? Write it down. What one thing could you do today and this week to increase the amount of people you're putting into your pipeline? One thing for you. Put it on a piece of paper so that you can increase your amount of enrollments. And guess what else is going to increase? And this is what the zoomed out perspective is. Your impact increases. And isn't that what we're all here for? Your beautiful whys that you shared. You guys want impact. You want to impact women, people, better people's lives. You increase the amount of people that are coming in here. You're going to increase the amount of people that enroll. Your impact increases. As your impact increases, guess what else increases? Your paycheck. Period. If you look at your paycheck right now, it's simply a reflection of how many people you've had a positive impact on. Okay, we're here for a good paycheck, yes. We're also here to make an impact, right? So this is it. It's very simple. The simpler we keep it, simple but on fire. Are you with me on that? When you are fired up about loving people, being prepared, handing out samples, doing these things consistently, and you're increasing the amount of people that come in, you will increase the amount of enrollments, your impact will increase, which feels so good. How many of you love when you get messages from people saying, I cannot believe how much better I'm feeling? I get chills even talking about it. Like that, can you see why this is the most beautiful business? Because it monetizes and rewards us for having an impact in people's lives for the better. Ooh, chills head to toe. Our paycheck increases. So if you want a bigger paycheck, well, sister, increase your impact by increasing the amount of people in your funnel. Do these things consistently. Stop overthinking it. Keep it simple. Love people well and keep doing these things. And you will create a bigger paycheck with more impact and all the things. And here's the graphic I'm going to send to you really quick. I created this the other day. It was a really random moment. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's very simple. Here's the graphic. Oh, it's a screenshot. That's okay. But basically it says, look at this. This is what we do. And it comes back to this. You love yourself, you love people, you love plexus. You share plexus, you enroll and coach people, you work on your mindset, and you repeat. That's what we do. It's very simple. We have a buffet table of options of how to do those things, right? But don't be overwhelmed by the buffet. Be grateful for it and then pick one thing to do. Are you with me? Have the discipline to choose one thing. So did you each write down one thing that you're going to do to increase the amount of people coming into your funnel. Did you guys all write that down? You must leave with one action step, or this was just a fun, like, feel good 30 minutes. And that's not the goal. I want you to leave with an action step, right? How many of you feel excited about increasing your impact? How many of you feel a little bit more peaceful with trusting the process? Because this is what it is. It is. And when you increase this, everything works. It's beautiful. Do you guys have questions? We've gone a little bit over, but are you guys all good? Are you liking how you're feeling and some shifts that you had? I love it. You're amazing.